Morning, Trainiacs. Forget VO2 max, forget lactate buffering, forget lactic threshold. I just confused myself there. The testing that we've undergone over the last couple of weeks indicates that I have poor running economy. So, I'm going to be talking about it a lot over the next couple of months. Today, I'm going to explain what that is after I run. With poor running economy, apparently. There was a total of 14 kilometers. We're talking 8.5 miles at a 4:25 per kilometer pace. Really gotta dial it back to keep that heart rate under 135 is what we're targeting for the go all day, be able to run 6 times a week without stressing the nervous system kind of pace. It feels slow. Actually not that bad. All right, let's build some running economy. All right, running economy. Look at this. Trainiac hats showed up. So slick. So slick. Just matching on matching. How to improve running economy. First, a little story about what running economy is. Paula Radcliffe, the world record holder in the marathon, had a VO2 max of 70 milliliters per minute per kg in 1991, when she was a well-trained teenager at the time. By 2003, her VO2 max had not budged, but her oxygen consumption at a 6-minute pace had dropped from 205 mils per kg per kilometer to 175 mils per kg per kilometer. In other words, she used about 15% less oxygen to go the same pace. Her running economy had improved, so she got faster. That's what running economy is. Running economy is how much oxygen you require, basically how much fuel you require to run at a given pace. Obviously, if you can run at a given pace using less oxygen, you're going to be able to run faster at the same perceived effort. How can you improve that? You can run more, mostly easy. You can improve your form. You can strength train. You can do strides or short intervals. And that's all that's there. So those tips are basically just saying what we know. Run a lot of it easy, run a little bit fast, do some strength training, but practically speaking, what is running economy going to do? You know the old phrase, you might have heard this, that even the pros, for them, racing doesn't feel any easier, it just gets faster. That's part of what improving your running economy is all about.
It's relative, right? Your aerobic threshold feels the same as my aerobic threshold. It's just that my aerobic threshold is faster than your aerobic threshold. The feeling is the same. It doesn't feel any different. It's just, you are not, when you're running the marathon, you're not feeling it's going to be, Patrick Langer's not finding it easier than you, and you're not finding it harder than him. You're both finding it pretty much the same if you have paced it the same way and you're at the same relative intensity.
One way that we can improve our aerobic threshold is by improving our running economy. But despite what a lot of the online media publications and magazines would have you believe, it's not that easy.
You've got your limb length, you've got your calf weight, you've got your tendon stiffness, you've got your muscular elasticity. All these things are really what's determining your running economy. And some of them, some of the things, unfortunately, they're not that movable. People are just gifted to be good runners. Like people who have got really Achilles inserted halfway up the calf and super springy in the legs, they're going to, look at a Kenyan, their gastroc muscle is that about that big, and their Achilles is like that starting, It's crazy. I remember when I've been at the Olympics and I've seen them running around the village, like they're just different beasts.
So what can we do if we aren't a Kenyan and we're just a blonde, short, slightly chubby during the off-season Canadian beast? We'll get to the Plews answer right after this. Today's video is brought to you by Sporks. These are the only socks that I wear when I'm working out. And if they're good enough for Lucy Charles, they are good enough for me. Love Tri socks? Got 'em. Need to go beast mode? Do it. Want to feel spicy? Sporks have you covered. Sporks has everything. Cute kissy lips, flamingos, freaky deaky custom Kona sock dudes, they've got it all. Use the coupon code Taren to get 10% off all regular price socks from the Sporks website, and there is a link in the description below to that Sporks website. If you click through that, let them know that you came from us. Thanks, Sporks.
Main factors that improve people's running economy is tendon stiffness. So basically is if you look at people who are really economical, there's been a number of studies showing this, they find that the stiffness of the tendons is high. Like sprinters, super stiff tendons because they have so much like elastic recall, or this kind of that stretch shortening cycles just going off the chart. So that's one of the things. So that's why runners can do a lot of plyos, a lot of jumping and stuff like that, which can increase the running economy. But that's kind of like, once everything else is in place for you, I think we just focus on your running and get you running frequently and get that volume up, and also get you running a little bit easier. Because I was just looking in your training piece, and you do run a little bit harder all the time. So
little bits of plyometrics to improve my ground contact time, check, but mostly it's run easier. This is the stuff that I've been talking about with all the Zone 2 training and everything that I've been prescribing with Team Trainiac. I can't run 6 days a week if I'm constantly in Zone 3, Zone 4, and even spending a bunch of time in Zone 5. It's just too detrimental on the body. But to be able to run with a more economical stride, I need to develop the biomechanics so that it's very, very natural. So to be able to run more and marry the two, I need to make sure that I have a heart rate cap that allows me to be able to run without just beating me into the ground constantly, which is largely what I was doing starting a bunch of years ago and why I developed Achilles issues, top of the foot pain, a little bit of scar tissue in my hamstring, lower back issues, and I wasn't able to increase the running volume. So my heart rate cap on most of these runs is 135.
I've been working with pros for a long time. I remember when I first started working with a load of pros, and I would look at their data and I'd see the numbers they were doing, and I'd be like, I'm not actually that far off than what I can do. But the main difference is that they just do everything so much easier. And the difference, and the thing that I noticed as I got better and better, and I got, just before Kona, is that everything was easier. I didn't really go any faster. Everything got easier. My heart rates were lower all the time. And that's what people don't understand about Ironman, is that they think, I need to be faster. I need to be faster. No, you don't need to be faster. You need to do things easier. Because that's what Ironman is like. You can go and run. You could go out the door right now and run a K as fast as you need to do, as fast as you need to do with Patrick Langer to keep up with him for the marathon, right? But the problem is you can't do it easy enough. Whereas he's doing it easy enough, which is why he keeps on going. And that's a kind of a different way you have to think about it. So that's where the long, easy, keeping your heart rate under control is going to be.
So I'm going to be running more. I'm going to be running quite easy for the most part, 6 times a week. I'm training upwards of 15 hours a week at the moment. Does all of this apply to you? I'll admit, probably for most of you, not really. It might just be interesting information to understand a little bit more about what goes into our run, but I realize that not everyone has the luxury of training 15 hours a week or working with Dan Plews or getting into the lab and doing testing. I just think that it's really cool to go through, and maybe you can learn something in the meantime. Fact of the matter is that I made the mistake of telling Plews that my goal is to qualify for Kona over the next several years, and because of that, paired with the fact that my life revolves around triathlon, we can push a lot of those final 5% kind of things that can make me the very best that I can be. But remember that it wasn't that long ago that I did a video that I'll link to right at the end of this, that I was able to get 13th overall in Half Ironman Puerto Rico on just 9 hours of training. Now, is that going to qualify me for Kona? No. So we've got to start playing with all of these nitty-gritty details, and in your case, just focus on the basics. Focus on training as much as you can, mostly at a low intensity. Throw some really high intensity in there. Sleep, recover, eat well, fuel right, and you're going to get faster, even if you're only training 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 9 hours a week, and you too could potentially be 13th overall in Half Ironman Puerto Rico. Don't stress about everything that I say, because a lot of it is kind of just fun, interesting tests that I'm doing right now. So Trainiacs, as always, when we get the Plews on the old YouTube channel, we like to throw to the Get Started with Low Carb, High Fat training. That is free. Just put in your email address, sign up for it. It's been a hit. Thousands of people have already signed up for it, and we're getting messages from people who are saying, oh, this makes a lot of sense. Go to triathlontaren.com/the Plews. I probably have to go for like 5 more runs today. So later, Trainiacs.